YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports bringing you the second installment of This Week in Sports, the best place to get all of your sports news for basketball, baseball, football, and over to baseball. Now, baseball's been running for a little while already, and we're starting to see the standings fall into place. In first place right now, or the best teams in the league currently are the Yankees, the Twins, the Cubs, and the Padres. They all are over 700 right now and are doing very well for themselves. Next, we have for not second place teams, but some of the more mediocre good teams are the Indians, the Tigers, the Astros, the Marlins, the Braves, the Rockies, and the Dodgers in that order. Those are the teams that are between 501 and 700. And the teams that are just at 500 right now, could be playoff teams, might not be, are the Rays, the Orioles, the Mariners, the Brewers, and the Giants. In other news, the Marlins officially have 20 players that have tested positive for coronavirus. Right now they are 2-1 in their season. They've only played 3 games, which is why they're possibly why their record is so high on the list, because they have 20 positive test results and their season has been postponed. If other teams start seeing outbreaks like this, then there might be more and more postponing of seasons, but right now it's just the Marlins, and we're hoping to keep it that way. Baseball has been going very well otherwise. There haven't been a lot of reported cases, there haven't been a lot of issues, and so far, so good. But for the Marlins, not so much. A more interesting topic, or something with at least something to talk about, is basketball. Hockey. Hockey is beginning this week, actually today, starting in their 2 hub cities, Toronto, Ontario, and Edmonton, Alberta. Both of the cities are in Canada, and that's where most of the games, or all of the games, will be played. There are 24 teams to play, 12 in each city, 12 for each division, and the top seeded teams are cleared for qualifying. So, how qualifying round is going to work is all of the teams that aren't one of the better teams in the league. I'm not sure exactly what denotes the best team in the league, but there are teams that are denoted as the best and teams that are denoted as not the best. The top teams are going to play 3 games instead of 5 just to figure out seeding. Every other team is going to play a qualifying round of 5 games to see who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. So there are 24 teams invited to the playoffs, but there's a qualifying round before the playoffs actually start to figure out the seeding. After that, every single game will be determined by seeding, not by bracket. I actually like it better this way because that's how other sports do it. That's at least how a lot of the other sports do it. It's based off of a seeding chart, not a bracket, where first place always plays last place, the second best team always plays the second worst team, the third worst team always plays the third best team, and so on and so forth. It gives a much greater incentive for the best team to be the best team, and it gives a much greater incentive for the lower teams to work their butts off to get there. NHL power rankings, who are the top 5? So going into quarantine, the Bruins were way ahead of any other team in the league. They had 100 points. In second place, only had 94. No other team in the league had anywhere near the Bruins. And I am very hopeful that they will continue that streak, considering that I am a Bruins fan from the great state of New England, which is not a state. The NHL power rankings include the Bruins in first place, the Lightning in second, the Blues in third, the Golden Knights in fourth, and the Flyers in 5th. It'll be interesting to see what's going to transpire once hockey resumes, and how they're going to handle the coronavirus issue, and whether or not there's going to be a lot of issues in hockey like there were with the Marlins. They are playing in a bubble, just like in basketball, and basketball in the 2 days that they have been playing haven't had any issues as of yet. Knock on some fake wood that this table is made of. So hopefully hockey and basketball will be all set, but we're really not sure at this point. It's all a question mark. and we will get back to you on that next week if there are any updates. the basketball bubble begins in overtime. In the first 6 games of the basketball season, or the basketball restart, there were 2 overtime games. The Grizzlies and the Trailblazers, and the Rockets and the Mavericks. Interestingly enough, both of these games were very important seeding games. The Grizzlies and the Trailblazers are fighting for 8th place right now with a million other teams in the West, and the Rockets and the Mavericks right now have a very similar record. They're both very close in the standings, and it'll be interesting to see where they end up falling. The Grizzlies and the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies are currently in 8th place, but the Trailblazers are in 9th, and they're trying to get that spot. And by winning in overtime, yes, they ended up winning 135 to 130, that brings them just one step closer to passing up the Grizzlies and getting that last spot. Now, I believe if 8th and 9th place are close enough, there will be a round robin in place for a certain number of teams for the 8th spot, or something of the sort. I'm not exactly sure how the convoluted system for the 8th spot in playoffs is working for basketball this year. But it looks like even if the Trailblazers do pass up the Grizzlies, their spot won't be secure. The Rockets and the Mavericks are both doing very well, and they are both guaranteed playoff positions. We just don't know how the seeding will fall, and the Rockets ended up winning that overtime game by just a few points, with James Harden having his 20th game of the season with over 40 points. The first player to do that since Wilt Chamberlain. This is his 3rd season. He's the first player to do it thrice since Wilt Chamberlain. This is his 3rd season in a row doing that. The Celtics, Game 1. Now, I am a Celtics fan, just like every other sport in New England, and I was very disappointed with the officiating last night. Now, I'm not going to be a little crybaby. I'm not going to talk about all of my complaints with the referees, but just like basketball always is, there's a lot of discrepancies between what the refs call for the big shot players and what the refs call for everyone else. And I believe that Giannis got away with one too many calls last night, especially at the very end, that ended up losing the Celtics the game. Now, I think that this game won't really have an influence on the playoff positioning, but I still wanted to mention it because I'm a fan, and that's what we do. So I think it's really too bad that the referees for or against the Celtics or any other team in the NBA get a lot of calls wrong. And I think that, I know that it's a very hard sport to officiate, but with instant replay, it's very hard to get those things wrong. Like, you can watch over the clip over and over and over again, and you can see exactly what happens, exactly what the players do, and exactly what order they're done in, so that you can get the right calls for the right times. If a player's out of the restricted zone, when they block someone going up for a shot, then they shouldn't be called for a penalty. That's just the rules of the game. But again, just like basketball always is, the refs have a very tough job. I just think that there's always been an issue with the officiating in basketball, and there will continue to be issues with officiating in basketball. But that being said, it was a very good first couple of days of play in the basketball world, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the rest of the season. Next, we have my favorite sport, the NFL, and there certainly was not a dull day this week with news in the football world, even though the season has not yet started. Antonio Brown strikes again in the news. He has officially gotten his suspension of 8 games to any team who claims him. I know that he was taunting Roger Goodell, telling him, hey, if I'm going to play, I need to know what I'm going to be doing, so let me know what my deal is right now so I can sign with a team. He got his deal, 8 games with whoever signs him. Nobody's still sure whether or not he's retiring. This 8 games is a new development that came out yesterday, so we haven't really gotten a reaction from him yet or heard anything about what he's planning on doing. My opinion, he shouldn't play. I think that based off of the events that have transpired in the last 13 or 14 months with Antonio Brown, I think that he might already be seeing some effects of possible long-term damage from playing football. I think that if he continues playing football, it'll just make it worse, and I don't want to see anyone have significant brain damage because of doing something that they love, even if he might potentially be the best wide receiver in the league. I think that it would be a very dangerous thing for him to come back and continue playing. But on the other hand, he could be a very amazing wide receiver still, and he could do wonders for whatever team signs him. So this is not my decision. I just have advice that I might give him myself, but it sounds like he would be very willing to play for a team that would be willing to pay him and has a good chance of doing well in the playoffs. Next, Patriots have the easiest road to a 54-man roster that I've ever seen, because now a whopping 7 players have officially opted out of the 2020 season. Yes, 7 players. Marquise Lee is the newest addition to this list. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but Marquise Lee joins the 2 rookies and the 4 3-time Super Bowl winners as the 7th player on the Patriots to not play this season. Every other team in the NFL has 1, 2, or 3 players. The Patriots have 7. So, although a lot of them are very good players that I really wish I could have seen play this year because they've been amazing for us in the past, it does make it easier for us to decide who we're going to be putting on our final roster before the season starts. That's no good thing, but it's a right side to a negative situation. So that's an interesting development, but let's continue on. NFL Power Rankings. I made an NFL Power Rankings video yesterday. This is literally just me advertising my own video, so go ahead and check that out. Link is in the description. And last but not least, we have Joey Bosa and Patrick Mahomes on Money Matters. Joey Bosa has become the highest paid defensive player in NFL history based off of guaranteed money. Yes, he is guaranteed $78 million in his new contract, which has never been done before for a defensive player. He's actually guaranteed more money than Patrick Mahomes in his new $135 million contract over 5 years. Joey Bosa is officially the highest paid defensive player in the NFL, and he will probably be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL until someone else goes to their team saying, hey, Joey Bosa got this, what can you give me or else I'm leaving, bye. So it'll be interesting, or if Jadeveon Clowney gets signed by a team and he gets paid more because he asks for more. So Jadeveon Clowney actually still doesn't have a team at the recording of this video. That hopefully might be recovered in next week's video, but we really don't know because he does some weird things and doesn't have a team right up until the start of the season for the 2nd season in a row. And Patrick Mahomes is officially a part owner in the Kansas City Royals. Yes, the $500 million man from the NFL has officially become an owner of the Kansas City Royals, the youngest owner in their history. He's only a part owner, so he doesn't make all the decisions. He's just a part owner, and I don't know exactly what part he owns or how or what percentage of the team he owns or whatever, however it's calculated, but he is a part owner of the Kansas City Royals with the $500 million he was given by the Kansas City Chiefs. Of the Chiefs to be the owner of the Royals at this point. But those are my snippets for this week in sports. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Tell me below what sport you are most excited for this season, and there's going to be a playlist here about my predictions for the NFL season, and there's going to be a video here which is my most viewed video on the channel. So please make sure to watch those if you have nothing better to do right now, or if you have something better to do and you just really feel like watching another one of my videos. So thanks for watching and have a really nice day. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and peace out.